Hi, it's Lucy here, and I've got a handful of new dies on my desk today, and I'll be using one of them for this quick card project. This is also the first in my new Fast and Fab series, all about card ideas you can make in 15 minutes or less. And the die and the paper pad I'm using are both from Life's Craft Art, and I have a huge 25% discount code, and I'll mention more about that later. This paper pack makes such beautiful marble look backgrounds. They have different swirls of red, pink, purple and more. They're 160 GSM, so a medium thickness paper. I've already made a couple of cards using this same design. This first one uses the bluey purple marble with some gold die cut accents. I love how the gold just pops against those cooler tones. And these are so easy to make, and yet it looks like you may have spent hours creating the background with mixed media. And here's a second version with pink marble and a metallic red die cut frame. A completely different feel, but just as striking. And the one I make on camera is maybe my favorite, so let's get started on the third card. And let's check out the time. It's 3:39 on my watch. Let's see what we can create in 15 minutes. First up, I'm cutting a piece of white card just slightly larger than the die. I'm using 300 GSM cardstock, which I think is perfect for a die cut frame like this. So I'll run it through my die cutting machine now. And this one's a really intricate design with lots of little details to cut out. So I'm adding a folded piece of scrap printer paper as a shim, just to help create a bit more pressure. I'll check the cutting and it still needs a little more, so I've flipped over the whole sandwich so the cutting side is up, and I'll run it through again. And in case you're wondering, I created these cards a while back before I received the plate savers, which is why I'm not showing them here. The gold and red frames I showed earlier were also cut from 250 to 300 GSM. If you use thin paper, it can be tricky not to tear it when removing it from an intricate die like this, and also it can just end up looking like paper stuck on paper, and we don't want that. We want a lovely professional finish. And now to pop out the die cut pieces, and I'm using a pokey tool, which makes it so much easier. A pin or anything small and pointy will also do the job. And there's one tiny section in the corner of my die that doesn't cut all the way through. It might just be my particular one, I'm not sure. It could possibly be a slight manufacturer issue otherwise, but it's an easy fix with a craft knife. And honestly, you could even leave that bit in. Most people wouldn't even notice. And now I'll glue the frame directly onto the marble paper. For intricate die cuts like this, it's always best to use either a glue pen or a fine metal tipped glue bottle like I'm using here. And to help it dry flat and evenly, I'm placing an acrylic block over the top for a minute. You can use anything heavy that you have on hand. And while that's drying, I'll move on to the sentiment and shadow die. I'm using white for the shadow and a deep red for the sentiment itself. I'll also cut the sentiment 2 more times from white cardstock and layer them all together. This gives such a beautiful professional finish compared to just a single layer. And I'll use my acrylic block again to help them adhere nicely. And now I'll trim around the white frame using my craft knife. You could definitely use a paper trimmer here if that's easier for you. I'm just going to glue the sentiment to its white shadow, and then I'll attach the whole background piece to the card front using double-sided tape. And just a heads up, Life's Craft Art dies are sized for US card sizes, and Aussie cards tend to be a little longer. So in this case, I'm trimming just a bit off the top of my card. I usually trim the top rather than the bottom because if I cut it slightly wonky, it's much less noticeable that way. And other times I'll just leave it and won't cut off any, depending on whether I want the borders to look perfectly even. Most of you don't need to worry about this part. This is just for the Aussies. So next I'll glue down the sentiment and let that set for a moment. And that's it. Our quick but beautiful card is done. I think non-crafters are always amazed by die cutting, especially backgrounds and frames like this. They never quite know how we did it. And let's check the time. We're at 3:54. Mission accomplished, a full card in 15 minutes. Let me know if you want to see more Fast and Fab videos. Did you like the gold, metallic red or white frame the best? I'd love to hear what your favourite is. You'll find all the links to the products in the description box below, and if you're ordering from Life's Craft Art, using my links will give you the option to apply my 25% discount on your whole order. There's no code to remember, and they also offer free international shipping on orders over $29 too. Before I go, a cheeky little hi to Joanne and her hubby. Hopefully he's hearing this from the other room. That's it from me. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I'll be back soon with another video. Happy crafting and bye for now.